Hey my crafty creatures, thank you for tuning into this video. So for this video, I want to take another attempt at making a bralette for the summer. And the other ones I've done have come out okay, but I still find them not that wearable. So I want to try to attempt to make another one, and hopefully this comes out the way I want it to. So we're just going to kind of get started. I have a pattern that I've already kind of made, but there are a couple of adjustments that I want to make for it. So I'm going to take you guys through that process, and I hope you can learn something as I learned something in this whole process. Now, I do hope that this is going to be an easy one. I am going to be doing something similar to what I did in a couple of my other videos, where I sew two pieces together as the front and back. That way I don't have to deal with hems and stuff like that. So that should make this part a little bit easier for me, but it's the fit that I want to kind of hone in on and get it so that it is more wearable in the long run. The ones I've made in the past I've had like little fit issues that just make it uncomfortable, so I don't typically wear them. But hopefully we get something a lot better this time around. But if you want to see what I do to make this bralette, stay tuned to the video. Alright, so here we already have my two pattern pieces that I have. I have the front and back, and the front is where I need to make some adjustments. I want to put a dart here in the front just so that it gives a little more space for the chest area. That's the only thing I want to make the change on, so I got to figure out how to do that. Now, I'm not sure how that process really goes, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it. I know that I want the dart to stop right about here, and the other thing I think I want to do on this is add an extra maybe inch so that I can fit some elastic in here. I'm going to attempt to only put the elastic on the front piece and not the back, and see how that goes. I've never done that before, so I don't know what kind of effect it'll have, but let me figure out how to get this dart in here, and hopefully that'll work. So I think what I'm going to do is start by just cutting a slit right up the center of this, and hopefully I can do the slice and spread technique to get this to look the way I want. So I'm going to draw my line and hopefully get that to where I want it to be. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut this open. I'm also going to grab some more paper so that I can redraw this pattern piece. Now, don't mind me. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying stuff and hoping it works. So let me line this up with that. And then line this up with that. So I've already spread it out just 1 inch. So that will give me that dart that I'm looking to put in there. All right, so I've put the dart in there. I've spread this out. And now I am going to try to line everything else up to that. And hopefully that gives me what I need. In my head, this makes sense. Hopefully it translates to the actual garment. The only thing I'm worried about is because of that spreading method, it creates a different line for this area up here. I'm hoping that because it's a knit fabric, it won't matter as much, but we shall see. I just need to make sure that this lines up with the back side. That's the main thing. So I will double check that once I get everything aligned. That comes up to here. And go here. And then I just need to line this up. I think that's where we need to be. Okay, so I have the pattern piece. I just realized I'm going to have to add to this one too. So I'm going to have to redraw that. But I think I'm going to add an inch here. I feel like that might be too much though. We're going to add an inch. We can always take off. We can't add 2. Well, I mean, technically we can't add 2. Just cut it out on the fabric. But I'm going to add an inch here for the extra length. And then I'll just draw out the lines so that everything matches up. And hopefully, I'm really hoping this comes out right. And then I'll do the same, make sure that I do the adjustments for the back side and get this all cut out. We'll come back once I have that done. All right, so now I have the new revised pattern. Hopefully this comes out well. I'm going to pull out my fabric and get that cut out so that we can see what this thing is actually going to end up being. Hopefully it comes out good. That's all I have to say. Now that I have my pieces cut out, it's time to start sewing them together. I'm going to start off with this dart here, and then we'll move on from there. All right, so I've just gone through and marked off where my darts are. I'm going to line each one of those up and sew them together. For this, since it's a vertical and there's quite a bit of stretch still on here, I'm going to use my lightning stitch just so that it can still stretch with the fabric. So I'm going to put that on 4 and I'll go up to a 3 as far as the stitch length goes. Now I'm going to separate these and sew each one of the darts, which will end up being 4. So I want to make sure that I line up the points and then line up the lines down here at the bottom so that they are perfectly matched. I won't bother pinning it today, but typically I would want to. Since this is not that much, I'm not going to worry that much about it. But I just want to make sure that everything is aligned. And then I just sewed right off the edge. Okay, so now that I have the darts done, I just gone through and pressed everything so that the darts are facing opposite directions. So one is going inward towards the bra, and then the other one's going outwards. And that'll just reduce all the bulk when I actually sew everything together. So now what I'm going to do is sew the straps together in the inside neckline. And for that, I am doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance. That'll give me a nice slim, that'll end up giving me a nice slim strap. Okay, so once I got the straps done, I did go in and just trim it down a little bit. I went down about 1/4 inch. That way when I flip it right side out, there's not too much bulk on the inside of that strap. So now I have sewn the bottom of this, and now I want to go ahead and do the same for the back piece. All right, so now I'm at the part where I'm going to add the elastic. So what I've decided I'm going to do is just measure out the elastic to be the same width as the fabric here, and then I'm going to use the serger to attach it. So I'm just measuring that out right now. All right, and I did double check that to make sure that it would still fit me all right. And it does. It's going to stretch a little bit under my underbust, so that should be good enough as far as moving on to the next step. So now I'm going to take this over to the serger. I'm going to trim down probably maybe 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, just so that it kind of matches up with that line there. so that when I flip it right side out, one side will be more tucked in. It will be kind of similar to doing an understitch. Alright, so now I have that attached and it went pretty well. And I was pretty close to the sew line, so that should be good to go. Alright, so now I'm going to turn this right side out and then I'm going to slide it into the back piece here. Alright, so now it is time to place this inside of the other one. Hopefully I can get everything to line up okay. Alright, so I'm going to use some clips to hold all 4 layers together so that when sewing it together they don't go all over the place, and I make sure I can get all of them. I'm also going to make sure I put the straps in correctly so that they line up the way they're supposed to. I'm going to have to just kind of feel around for it, but I want to make sure they're as straight as possible. What I'm going to do is take a little safety pin and pin those together that way, or pin the straps so that I can feed it through a lot easier, because it's just a little tighter than the shirt that I did. I'm just making sure everything is straight inside before I take the pin out and sew it shut. Alright, got everything aligned for the most part. Just make sure everything goes in smoothly, and then I can start sewing it all together. Now with doing the sides, I want to leave one of the sides with a small opening so that I can pull everything right side out. But aside from that, it's just going to be pretty much like a straight stitch using the lightning stitch to close up both sides. And I completely forgot to leave my opening. Seam rip and opening for this. Hopefully it won't be too hard because this is a lightning stitch. Alright, so this is going to take me a second. I'll bring you guys back once I actually get the opening done. This is one good reason why you should always use markings, even though I did not. Maybe it would have reminded me that I need to stop and then start again so that I don't have to unpick. And I need to get about 1.5 inches opening going so that I can easily turn this right side out. Oh, almost forgot. I need to close up the top. Alright, that should be a big enough hole. Let's get this thing turned right side out. Alright, now we got it right side out. Figure out which side will be the front side, which it looks like it'll be this. And then I just need to close up this hole, and I'm just going to do a straight stitch over this. So I'm going to switch this back over to this, and we should be good to go. All right, we got the finished bra. All right, guys, thank you for joining me for this one. There is definitely some things that I still want to change about this. I feel like the straps are a little too long. The elastic in the front, I think I need to either make it a little wider or maybe move it to the back side. I'm not sure, but there'll be a couple more of these that I'll make, and hopefully those changes can show me some type of difference. And if I do end up doing those changes, or when I end up doing those changes, I'll do another video showing what changes I made and what difference that made. So hopefully you guys stay tuned to the next video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.